I'm gonna leave it over there if somebody comes in.
Ready.
You know what our anniversary is.
Okay, we'll call the August 20th meeting of TREFO to order. So if you would please stand for the invocation to be given by Wayne Sellers.
Our Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. And Lord, thank you for this time we have together. We can discuss the neighborhood, and Lord, we just ask you to lead us and guide us in the right direction, Lord, just so that we come together for the best of the neighborhood. Just keep everything in mind. Lord, we just thank you so much, Lord. Lord, we thank you for the safety we had through the storm, and we just praise you so that the rivers we know that are in your control, and they'll go back down and get out of the yard so people can get back in their home and get their lives back together, Lord. We just thank you so much for all you do for us. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. We will turn to the flag and we'll salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and sorry that we had to postpone the board meeting a week. It's thrown a few things behind for us, but in light of the circumstances from the potential flood, which we did have a flood, it's close to that 24-foot mark. Hope that everybody survived that well. It was expected that it was going to actually affect a lot more people in a lot worse way. So I think we're all very blessed with that. And let's just hope and pray that it'll continue to go down so that if we have another storm, it really won't impact us at a real terrible level like we have seen some years in the past. So we'll move on now to roll call. Hilda, here.
O'Farrell,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
James Baker, Judy Graham,
She's sick.
Mike Davis.
Here.
Sidney King.
Here.
Tommy Matthews.
Here.
Wade Sellers.
Here.
Gloria Spivey. Here. Carly Thompson.
Here.
Terry Hester.
Here.
Vicki Olson. Here. Vicki Sellers.
Here.
Will Brent.
Here.
That complete? Okay, we'll move on to request approval for board members to be excused.
Make motion to approve the excused board members.
Motion by Bond and a second by Charlie. Any discussion on excused members? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Move on. We have a copy of the agenda. Board members, if you look over the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Charlie.
Second.
Second by Mr. Trammell. Any further discussion on the agenda? All in favor of the agenda? Yes. Wayne.
Line 6, it says approve August. This is a July agenda, correct?
Said what now? Line
That's
six?
for today. Minutes from July.
But you're right, Randy, that's good. I'm practicing.
Okay.
All
Are
right.
we on the agenda?
Okay, that'll take care of that.
We're on the agenda.
Yeah,
We're
we're
on
talking
the
about the agenda.
agenda. We're on the
That's
agenda,
okay.
not the minutes.
It's all right.
Hold
Uh-oh.
It's been a tough week. All in favor?
Wrong page.
All in favor of the agenda, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to approve the minutes.
Now,
Now. Look at.
Hilda?
Now I'm confused. I think that, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I think approved June meeting minutes should, yeah, that's correct. Okay, so we're approving July, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So number 6 is she say July, not August.
Correct. And then 7, 6 of June, right? Anyway,
Yes, that's good.
all right, so you've got the meetings for July 9th in front of you and corrections of it and, yeah, 6. What? Oh, I know there's one. I'd like to have an exact amount for the tree removal that was done. I had a $3,000 minus. Is exactly 3,000.
Moves exactly 3,000.
I'll take the bus on my off. That's it for me.
Okay, so you have the July minutes with the, you're making that with the change that we have a motion to approve the minutes with change. Okay, motion by Wayne, a second by Charlie. Any further discussion on the minutes? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to treasurer's report. I'm sorry, we do have a secretary's report. Is that all that you have on your report, Hilda?
That is all of it I know.
Okay, so we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Okay, so, you all have, does anybody need it? Does anybody have a copy of the July numbers? The Seacoast checking account ending balance for the end of July was 94,619.31. Our reserve savings account is 503.58. Our CD account is 50,624.78. And our membership checking account is 26,417.75. For a total of 172,165.42. Our monthly checks were 20,201.93. Our total deposits were 3,306.25. And our total expenditures for the month were $21,038.06. In the second page of the financials, she ran a report not only for the July numbers, but a comparison year to date from January through July. I jotted down some exceptions in the numbers for July. I was going on vacation in August. So when Terry and I did checks, we went ahead and paid for the portables in July for 2 months. So it would be paid ahead. So if you notice that on the financials, that's why it's higher.
Okay.
Also, we paid Hunter Insurance $1,858 for our fire and casualty insurance policy. That was kind of out of the norm. We had repairs made to Camping Park, Hoder Park, and Brennan Park, and that totaled over $1,500. And Mike Smith, we paid him $2,500 for rock and tractor work on the boat ramp on the Columbia side. And then the gate greeters were, of course, paid twice in that month. So if you notice anything kind of looks out of whack, that should cover it. Does anybody have any questions on the financials?
Board members have any questions on the financial report? But so we need a motion to approve the finance report with motion with the expenses. We have a motion by Charlie, second by Vonda. Is there any further discussion on the finance report? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Vicky, do you have anything else to bring up? I think we were going to discuss in this meeting, I believe we were going to discuss the budget, the annual budget.
That's not, so it's under new business.
Right, so you want to just cover it there because we're really.
Well, what I'm gonna do is get with Carol and coordinate our schedule so we can come up with
I'll
a
let
date
you-
and time.
I'll let you do that there then.
Okay.
So we'll move on then to, thank you, appreciate everything. We'll move on to the president's report. Terry?
All I have is that one member that complained about the boats, but I sent her, or I contacted Hilda about it, because she was really upset about all the boats down there in the river. But Hilda told me for her to call back and get your something in place, so I told her to do that. And I ordered the keys today for next year, and I guess I'll bring this up at the.
Just a little bit more information about you. You had a complaint from somebody that was very upset about boats at the mouth.
Yeah.
And what was the?
Phyllis Peters. Her kids I got run over. She does a reunion every year down here at Otter Park.
Right,
and they go down every year. She said the boaters got so bad and disrespectful, and that two of her grandkids almost got hit. And when she told the guy about it, he started fussing at her, stuff like that. So I thought Hilda had done something, had some kind of group going, but when I contacted her, she said she didn't, but I told her to get in touch with the Itchy Tutton Alliance
Okay, good,
on
good.
that.
But they are working on that.
Yeah.
In fact, I spoke to their attorney, last week, and, he's in contact with governmental agencies to begin to start setting up, the opportunity for us to attend meetings and get the platform out there, so we can look at some ways to make the river safer and protect the river. So
Yeah,
that's-
because if it was like it was 30 years ago, boats used to get over and wait until keepers went by, but they just don't do that no more.
Right, it's just a sign of the times, but, still need to work on it.
I have a question.
Children say, yes, Vicky.
Did, Keaton tell you if there's an increase in the price of keys when you
No,
ordered
he's
them?
gonna call me back tomorrow or the next day. No,
Thank you.
Okay, Terry, anything else?
that's it until I get down here.
Okay, all right, then we'll move on to park manager's report, Bill.
The first few things into my report is trying to figure out a way to give the board information on issues that we have with members and non-members, besides the fact that we have this and this and that, so many of this and so many of that. I'm gonna try to nail them down, key numbers or a name, preferably a key number, okay? But if they won't give me a key number and I'm able to get the person's name, I'm gonna use their name. So if that board's okay with that, I'm going to continue. All right, had a member issue concerning a dog in Hodder Park. I had a continuous, I had an issue about bringing non-service animals in the Hodder Park along with the guests. The guest that came in also had a dog. Per the key holder, this dog is not a service animal. This was also reported by the person's boyfriend. It was a dog in training. We've had problems with this young lady several times concerning this dog. And the gate breeder and I had many encounters with this person concerning this issue, only to be blown off by her. And it should be on the Hodder camera. So that's one issue. I discussed that with you. I don't know how much farther you want to go with it.
It needs to be one of the complaints that we'll be filing with the attorney through the courts.
Okay.
So if we're gonna have continuous behavior, because what we would hope would be the outcome is that when members violate their own rules
Right.
consistently, that put other members in jeopardy, that pretty much laugh in the face of the rest of the members who abide by the rules. And at some point, we believe that we can revoke their membership. Now, we know we're having to go through a little bit of a battle to do that, but that's where we want to go. So the documentation is most critical, that to get to that point, the attorneys are ready to take the file.
I just don't like having contentious issues in front of other members,
All right, that's
And
understood.
that's what happens. And
Please know something, you don't have to have any, it doesn't have to be contentious that it affects you. You're only carrying out the wishes of the board to preserve the rules for parks. So at the end of the day, it's just a matter of fact. That's how you want to act. I've got it recorded here. I've got you on camera, got the statements, the numbers, the information. I've got the witnesses, and then we can go forward with that. It shouldn't bother you. You're doing exactly what the board's asking you to do.
the
Let
second
me ask you a question. Is that the feeling of the board?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're pretty, go ahead, Tom.
Mr. Chairman, it might not be a good idea to, since he said many encounters with this person, that we maybe talk with the attorney about sending a letter notifying them of these violations and that they are to cease and desist. And that would give us additional ammunition when we present it, or when the the attorney presents it in court.
Like, that would be our first, choice. That's would be the first thing we would be required to do anyway. We have not done that in an official, action yet, but that would be the first thing. We haven't established that protocol for those rules and steps before we can take it actually to the next level. So, I'll reach out to the attorney and see if we can get that establishment, that established rules in place as to how we will take those steps. So, because it's got to be consistent and fair for everybody.
Well, I'm concerned about too.
Okay.
There's a non-member
Hold on a
that,
second, but you got it.
Remember when we came up with the policies and procedures manual? We also came up with a violation log and a procedure for the shooters that we were having issues with. We could probably utilize that log to log those key issues too. And on that situation, we had, the attorney draft a letter for him to cease and desist when he was sport shooting.
Right.
And it was delivered by a county sheriff, which held a lot of weight, and he stopped shooting. So I think it's what you're on the right track, and that's a good idea.
We want to keep it, we want to keep it as simple as we can
Right.
starting out. And hopefully that would actually dissuade someone from wanting to continue to go forward. It would save us money and time. It's not about individuals here. It's about everybody playing by the same rules. And
Exactly.
sometimes some folks feel like they don't have to play by the rules, but we have to with the number of people that are utilizing our parks and from the safety standpoint. Yes, James?
Well, if we're gonna have the attorney draft a letter to send to somebody, that's gonna take its time, isn't it?
It actually can be we can create, we don't have a form letters. I don't think yet. Do we have a form letter with that?
No, but we can get
Yeah,
one.
what we can do is get that protocol established is what we need to do because it's starting to trickle down a little bit more, a little more. So we probably do need to step that up.
Well, I was just wondering, if there's gonna be a fee he's gonna charge to draft this letter.
Yes.
Should all the members be penalized to pay for this person's mistake, or should the person
Well,
make a
that's
mistake
ultimately.
pay that fee?
That's ultimately what happens is that when there's any challenge with anything, our funds come from our members. So whatever's challenged for whatever gain the individual thinks that they're gaining, that's what affects, everybody, and everybody's a part of having to pay for that. No way around it.
I just didn't know if, as a homeowners association, that expense could be passed on to the person in violation of the rule.
Be a great try. Sometimes that could be a possibility. We'll see. May cost us more to try to do that than to get out of it.
This
Don't know.
time, to take care of it.
Exactly. I agree. Okay, Bill, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, but I think it's a non-member issue. Person drives around in an orange four-seater golf cart, forward facing four-seat. Over the past year and a half or so, this person has been in the parks. I've asked him to leave. Sometimes he comes in when the gates are left unlocked. And, he stated to me that he would like to get a key, but does not live in Three Rivers. The last encounter was at Hoder Park. He was using a person's key, a member's key. People present at the incident was Priscilla and Sherry. Both are gate greeters. Just recently, I saw him go into the park again. He had a key and let himself in. I was unable to confront him at this time. This gentleman has been like I said, a year and a half. And when I see him in a park or something, I ask him if you remember, and then he leaves usually because the gate was left open. This time at Hoder, I asked him if he had a key as he was leaving, and he gave me a whole bunch of flack, and also Priscilla. It's all on the camera, and it's an ongoing issue with this gentleman. If he doesn't live in Three Rivers Estates, he shouldn't be going to our parks unless a member takes him with them.
Sure.
So that's another one.
You got the person. You have the name and
They got the key in the
we'll
book.
keep that documented and
Yeah. Another member issue over the past couple of years, this gentleman has been bringing his dog into the parks. I have I have asked him to, on multiple occasions, to not bring his dog into the park. And it's on the Hoda camera and I got the key number on here. I don't have a key number for this person. I don't even know if she's a member. I think the son might be the member. So this next one, Tina Hall brought in a glass into Hoda Brock, a beer bottle, set it on the gate reader's table, you know, while they were checking the keys, and Sherry said, you can't bring that in here. And she, so they threw it in the cooler and went on down. Luther was with her.
Right.
Sherry called me at home. I came back in. I went down and tried to have a discussion with Miss Tina Hull. She ran out into the water and, I don't know, disappeared or something for a while. I didn't chase her out in the water or something. I went back by her, where her son, I guess it's her son, that's what I've been told. They were all sitting and they started giving me a lot of lip. And he said, you would never know if we had glass in here or not if you didn't look in our cooler. I said, well, that may come down the road if people keep doing this. I said, but I'm not going to look in your cooler because we know she brought got glass in here, and she gave the gate reader a hard time about the glass being here. You know, we work our tail off on trying to not be picky. You shouldn't have to be picky. People, bring it in aluminum can. If you can't do that, pour it in your drink cup and bring it in that way. The first child, when the children start getting their feet cut and stuff like that, and injuries, and everybody's going to point fingers at the board. Why aren't we doing this? And we are doing it. We're doing it hard.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
So that's the last one on the issues. Now, we did have I went out and bought a deck brush for Midpoint Park because pressure washer just wasn't cleaning that thing. So I got a stainless steel deck brush, and it was one of the members suggested I get a brush and leave it down there, and everybody could just brush that off, and it worked out great. The deck was nice and clean and not slippery. And I went down one day and the brush was gone, and haven't seen hide nor hair of it. So.
Does that surprise you that it's going?
No, to be honest with you, I just want to see how long it was going to take, you know? But, you know, I love the idea that members do want to help, because I've got a couple more instances of that. But then you get these handful of people, all they want to do is, you know, just circumvent the issue, circumvent what's going on and cause problems.
Well, you're doing a good job with it. You know, there's a handful everywhere.
Yeah.
But we got ours minimized at least, and it's 1,000 times better than it ever was.
One thing I didn't add on this whole was, I called Sheriff County, the sheriff, they came over, and I told the son that I was gonna call. They hurriedly left before the sheriff got here.
Blame them.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have the sheriff trespass the ones that were involved that were not members.
We'll keep it up. You're doing a good job of
Yeah.
that.
Okay, I got called down to one afternoon down here. Kids were throwing rocks and towards a person that was in the water, one of our members. And she asked them to stop, and it got back and forth. And then so I came down. I had a talk with the family with a bunch of kids. And I said, you know, we can. And then one of the young ladies had an attitude about the whole thing. She's probably about 13 or 14, you know, typical, you know. I
So
said,
the problem, the kids or the parents?
well, we can go into a conversation on that. But it was at least one of I think it was the father came up and talked to me, and he said, I will take care of this, da, 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 da. You know, so that was handled. We also had one of the trees over in the Swanee River boat ramp. Swanee River, Santa Fe River on the other side, on the Swanee side. A tree took out the boat, the pump house at the boat ramp and destroyed it really. Nathan will repair all the plumbing. They're gonna have to pour a slab, a bigger slab because it cracked the slab also. And I discussed that with Glenn already and Nathan. There was a member, Dave and Sherry McNamara. They donated a pump house that they weren't using, and we're gonna match the slab to fit that. So that was really nice.
Nice.
And Jeff Long and Dave Pete are helping with the plumbing issues and the concrete slab.
That's great.
Chris Smith called me this morning and asked if he could cut the tree up that's laying across midpoint entrance. It's a good sized tree. I thought I was gonna have to get somebody, somebody with a tool to get it, but he went down there and he cut it up and hauled it down with his truck, and so now that entrance is got a lot of washout. And Tommy Matthews and I met with three electricians over the last month, and gave them proposals. And these are the sign that has been repaired at Wilson Springs Road. Any questions, board members?
Board members, have any questions of Bill? Is he doing a good job or?
Yeah.
Thank you for your help. Appreciate it very much.
Doing a great job. I was wondering if maybe the board could send a thank you letter to
Yes, I was.
the special assessors about that.
Absolutely. I think it would be wonderful.
Okay,
Yeah.
we do that.
Send letters for people to do something wrong. We ought to send somebody. to do something right.
Agreed.
Appreciate it. Okay, all right. Anything else of the Bill's report? All right, we'll move on then to the maintenance committee, projects committee, and Tommy. Go ahead, Sammy.
I'm sorry, about the last thing. Mike had a good suggestion is, maybe, we can put it on Facebook on the side.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's fine.
That's
Very
Mike.
good.
I think that would be a little-
That's great.
Everybody reads that.
That's great, yeah.
Everybody would see it there.
So
Yes.
who's got the tag to take care of that?
I'm sorry, Facebook.
Facebook.
Facebook? Yeah, Facebook on our chat. Thank you, Vonda. Yeah. I'll add that to my list.
Thank you, Vonda. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you for volunteering,
Vonda.
Vonda. Sammy.
Appreciate it.
Hey, I didn't do that.
Okay. All right, we'll move on then to projects. Tommy Matthews, you've been working on that electrical with Bill. So how do y'all want to present? Y'all present anything tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I'm having very much trouble listening and hearing.
What do you say?
The voice from the.
Yeah, well, maybe,
I know we.
Turn that one off back
maybe
there.
this next year we can get this thing renovated here and get the proper air conditioning and sound in place. We might take a look at that again this year in our budget, since we had to cut it out last year.
Okay. The board had asked that, we look into getting some electrical work done. A couple of months back. And, so we went and, started asking electricians to give us a quote. We finally got 3.
Yay. Good job.
And it took us a while. They haven't been opened yet. I want to make one thing clear. One of them says Matthews Electric. I don't have anything to do with that. My son has a connection, but he's not active in that. So I'm going to back out anything. This Bill has collected the quotes, and now's a good time to open them.
We'll let Vicky open.
Are you agreeing to a
The
polygraph?
scope of this work, Tommy, the scope of this work is to connect our 200 amp service in the bathroom area and hook to the in Hogar Park to hook to those pavilions, so we could get a stronger dropout to that area, so we could actually.
That's number 1.
Okay, that's number 1. What's number 2 then?
2 is electrify this building over here. Where we keep storage.
Okay,
For air conditioning.
okay,
Air conditioning's already involved. And then the third is to repair, Weather again over at, Brandon,
Brennan Park,
Brandon Park.
Okay.
That's one county side.
that's all inclusive in that bid.
All inclusive of that bid.
You want me to read these? Well, you're going.
What I would do, just,
Let's say the
if
price.
they're all complete, are they all meeting the scope of that work, or is it just?
Well, okay, so Holly Electric named everything that they were gonna do. And it says total estimated cost is $5,286.60. On, High Springs Electric, he gave an option 1 and an option 2. So the option 1 was 1 to 40 amp service re-pulled through existing conduit to pavilion to refeed if possible, $13.78. Option 2 was 1 to 40 amp service trenched and ran to the pavilion, 200 foot. The other one was 140 foot. That's $3,000. But all the other items, this was not totaled, that I can see.
Okay, so what we're probably gonna have to do is send it back to, the committee to just rank and evaluate it.
Welcome, guys.
Give us the last quote. We'll check the actual technical services that will be provided. Yes, Tommy?
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that we make sure that they meet the specifications of the bid so that we're talking apples to apples instead of,
Sure.
I think that
We
may
could
be
draw-
part of the problem.
That first one is very detailed and so is the second one, so it's like somebody
We've
with
been-
some
Yeah,
expertise
we've
needs
been
to
through that
compare it.
before, so let the committee go back, and then what we'll do
Okay.
is go through and
That's the last.
review the services offered and check the dollar amount.
They were all given the same scope sheet of paper.
We'll be meeting again in about 3 weeks,
You're
so.
both the same. Okay, and then Matthews Electric was $6,085.14. Well, see, there's 2 of those. There's an option 2, that was option 2. Option 1 is $6,778.81.
Okay.
So,
So if y'all wanna hold those, Bill and Tommy, we'll get together and review those, rank them based on services performed. Anything else, Tommy? Good job. I know you've been chasing.
I'm waiting on the board's approval.
Yeah. Can we get a board
Yeah,
member beside someone?
Yeah, okay. We have a board member that would be able to work with Bill to evaluate these.
How about you, Mike?
We have a volunteer. Sammy, you will? Okay. Sammy and Bill.
you pass this down?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to hold those, Sammy? Okay,
Cause he can look through and see what's, yeah.
let's, if we can, let's just we'll take a picture of those before you leave tonight. We'll have that document since we don't have a copy of them. We'll review those and then we'll, make a decision, get back. You good with that, Tommy?
That, I couldn't hear you.
Say what?
What?
On the Attorney General's different form?
Yeah, it's
I
so
think it's
hot
that
here. I
one.
apologize for what we're having to deal with. It has dropped 1 degree since we've been here.
I think it's cooler outside.
So, we're gonna review those and then get back with the committee and rank them, and we'll see if everybody agrees with the ranking and what we've done.
Think we could make a decision by, next meeting, briefly?
Absolutely. That would be absolutely what we want to do.
And I want to thank Bill for all the help he gave.
Thank you both, for putting that time and effort into it.
No problem, Tom. Anytime.
Okay, anything else?
It's-
Can you hear me? Okay.
Some people's voice, your voice I can hear, most of the sound, but there's other people, I can't hear. It's because of the voice. So that's-
Well, I tend to want to look at you when I talk, so that might help some.
Well, we can get microphones.
Yes, I think we're gonna fix this problem, so we just gotta get through this. Okay, we're gonna move on then to, communication committee. Vonda, Charlie, you have anything to report?
I've mainly just got the membership. So on the Columbia County side, we have 685 members. Swanee County, we have 254, so a total of 939 members in good standing total.
Very good.
The rest I'll cover.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
Right. Okay, so we'll move on then to new business election candidates. Vonda?
Alrighty. Okay. I'll start with the candidate part, and then we'll go into the out loud. Can I turn this on for just a second?
Yes.
It was cold.
Charlie's gonna share.
It's blowing 85. It's cooler outside. I believe.
Hey, here. Can I turn that one on?
Go ahead.
Should be a muffler in the door, muffler outside.
It really is.
It is.
Okay. So everyone was wanting to know about all of the applications that were turned in. We gave them up until midnight. I think it was 11:59 on August 1st. So, and also, according to the Florida Statute 720, if you have, I'll read the alternates. If you have as many or less applicants apply, then there is no election on those particular areas. So the alternates, we had four members turn in their applications. So our four alternates, which will not have to run, they will not have to be elected because only 4 people applied. The first one is Mike Conley. The second one is Lori Lilly. The third one is Kim Kokar, I believe.
Koikar.
Kokar? Koikar?
Koikar.
Can you spell that?
Koykar. And number 4 is Dusty Trail. Okay, and then same thing with the officers. So if there's no one opposing them, they're automatically in the in those positions. But these positions will not start until January 1st. That's when our next year starts. So secretary ran unopposed. That's Hilda Gilchrist. So she'll continue. Our treasurer also ran unopposed, Vicki Sellers. So she will be our treasurer still.
Nobody wants my job.
No, they don't. And our vice president also ran unopposed, which is Mickey Olson. So she'll be continuing as well. We did have our president, Terry Hester, does have an opponent, so she will be running. And the other candidate is Jared Butcher. So those 2 will have to be voted on. So on the day of our members meeting, those will be voted on.
Jerry who?
Terry Hester?
No.
Jared Butcher.
Jared, sorry. And Buttram?
Buttren, right? Yep,
Nice to meet you.
that's Jared. Are any of the alternates here? Mike, Lori, Kim, or Dusty?
Trail's here.
Lori's here. Lori
Dusty's
Lilly,
here.
Dusty Trail. And, okay, so Mike Conley's not in, Kokar. Okay. All right. So then we're done alternates, officers. We've got the one election for the one officer's position. Then we'll go to the board. So we had 6 applications turned in. Then we had one of those members retracted. When they retracted, I did reach out to them and ask them to please think about it, sleep on it, because, you know, you may feel one way. And then, so I asked that person to sleep on it. And then the next day, if she still felt the same, then to let us know. And she did want to retract it out. So the 5 applications that still stood were Glenn Hunter, Tom Trammell, Chris Harris, Terry Boyette, and Bonnie Blackwell. So those would be the 5 that do not have to run because that's all that we received. So when you vote, and I do encourage everyone to vote, don't feel that just because there's only one seat that's up, you need to get out and vote, talk to your people, vote for your people. But just don't let it slide through and not participate, even though there's just one seat sitting there. So that's that. So we do have up until September 1st to request either your proxy or your absentee ballot, and we'll get those out to them, and we'll also get a newsletter that goes to all.
So the
It's gonna be a
information
short
for
meeting.
proxy and absentee, is that on the website? laid out?
Yes.
Okay.
It's under the information. There's a link on there. Let's see, is there any other questions? So those will go out, and like I said,
The current officers,
3 of the current officers would stay in their seat. We'll continue as those.
and the ones that are not going to.
There's only, you got Terry and you got Jared. That's our only vote.
So Sammy won't be.
No.
Who else?
Mike Davis.
Mike
Davis and Tammy are actually
and then-
not gonna run for.
Gloria's
Reelect.
stepping in through the end of the year to finish out this time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, anybody? So this leads me on to the next part.
Okay.
So we only have the 2. I feel, and I want everybody else's information. I had asked Glenn what he thought. Since we only have the 1 seat up, I think it would be a waste of money to hire 3 people to come in and count votes. But I also needs to be open. Our meeting's going to be going on, but I think like we did last time, we just put tables across here. And if someone wants to come in while the 3 people, we'll still have 3 people. You just have to be quiet, not speak to them, not make any noise, but you can see what they're doing. So we'll need 3 counters. The other thing that I ran past Glenn, and I want to run it past you guys, is last year I think Skip kind of supervised those counters. So we need someone to supervise the counters that knows what's going on and has been involved in this. So 2 years ago, the last election, one of our election committee members was Pam Thomas. And I feel she would be the one that is qualified to do this. She knows the rules. She helped set the rules. And we also, Terry, had bought a new lock for our ballot box. And then the lock, is there 2 keys?
Yeah.
Those will be given to Pam Thomas. So she would be the one away from it. When the ballots come in, they will come from the post office to Hilda, just like you guys did last year. You both will mark off how many were received. You'll both be there when you deposit them in. And like last year, we had exactly the number that you said when the counters pulled them out and counted.
What day was that?
Members meeting?
What day would?
You guys can,
We did it for like a week.
they'll start coming in. So the absentee ballots and the proxies will start coming in. They have to be requested by the 1st. So shortly, right after, they'll be going right out.
We're gonna leave the ballot box in the office this year, we're under camera, because that was the issue last year.
I'm just asking because I'm gone, 4 days in September. It's not till October, right?
Well, you could tag off on Vicky, or you could tag off on Mickey. You could tag off on another officer. What do y'all think?
That's a great idea. Board members, any thoughts on what Vonda's recommendation is? It'll save us quite a bit of money in time.
That's $300 that we really, yes, we did a lot for it in the budget, but also a lot of other things have come up.
I think, Mr. Chairman, I think it's a great idea, and I'm all for saving money, but given the litigious nature, I think maybe it might be a good idea just to run it past but I'll leave that up to the board and the chairman, that run it past the attorney before we do that, because, we're actually, I don't know that we're bypassing anything, but we're just not including part of the process, but for good reason.
We're just not hiring it out, and we will choose, some of our members, let our members that, want to step up.
But we get challenged on everything we do.
Even when you hire it out.
And it seemed like if you have 3 unbiased people counting the votes that don't live in Three Rivers or not connected with us in any way, perception was, in my opinion, it was more fair, so.
How much is it? 300?
300. But it's,
I'll make a motion, pay nothing, see if we have to let them come back.
you do want to pay them?
I do, I like the motion, because it'd be just like last year, all crap we put up with last year.
Please, let's come through the board, through the chair, please.
That's my opinion.
Okay. Anyone else on the board?
I'll
Give
go along
objection
with
to that.
So I like paying somebody, and, maybe you could check with the attorney if maybe we could have at least like one supervisor outside that we pay to come in. That could oversee all the counting and the unlocking, locking of the boxes and stuff.
That seems another reasonable alternative. What do you think, Sam? Just at least have one person responsible that's in a paid position that has experience to manage the other two.
to manage the other two.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, we'll still have to pay them something too. Although they gonna do it for free or what?
Well, I mean, if you're
I
hiring
just
somebody,
think
you pay
it's
'em.
better to not have anybody associated with Three Rivers. That's my.
Then why don't we just go ahead and if that's the case, we're starting to split hairs here, paying one, why don't we just go ahead and
Continue as we were.
It's a,
continue, we'll just pay the office to manage it,
well, I know.
the
I
three.
mean, I could ask my son-in-law, he's he works at, he's second in command at.
But he's attached to you.
Alachua County.
Somebody's gonna find some angle, especially in Columbia County, you're related to somebody.
Right.
And again, Mr. Chairman, I would just suggest that we just briefly discuss it with the attorney and let him guide us on this, and then we can make a decision. But I think
Sure.
that then we're out acting on advice of counsel, which
So we're not.
limits our
We're
liability.
not gonna have a chance really to get back together, so we've got to have a couple of options here. If the attorney has no issue with the other plan, if we want to find 3 unbiased people from outside here, and who's going to determine who's unbiased? I can do that.
We
of
should
course,
do it this way.
you know what I mean?
And hire from the supervisor election.
Why don't we just have a supervisor of elections do it, and let's be done with it.
Okay, I was just trying to save money.
I appreciate that, but
Good
let's
idea.
take the argument.
We are too.
I know.
Yes, let's just take the argument out of it.
Sometimes it's, you have to pay not to get blamed.
So we know we won't have an issue. Is everyone good with going forward with like we did last year then?
Yeah.
3.
I am, agree.
Is anyone opposed to that? In any strong manner, we're just gonna go ahead and go forward with that.
Compromise.
So we'll continue what we did past year.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we've got a motion on the table. What do we do with
Did
that?
you make a motion? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Well, maybe I should.
Yeah, well, you didn't get a second, did you?
Second,
You're seconding his motion to,
have the, what we had last year, or last time.
okay, he didn't make that motion, did
I
you?
may go ahead and pay somebody. I don't.
Okay.
know if we- how much we pay
All right.
them or Not.
So your motion is to hire the 3
Hire
from the 3 from the office,
Yeah,
and we have a second by James to follow the pattern that we did last year.
yeah.
Okay, so any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're gonna turn the air back on now.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Your manual fan is tired.
Doing such a great job.
I knew we needed you on the board.
That's my
I know,
facility
I'm just
background.
bringing
How you turn this thing on for your power?
Oh, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I just wanted to save some money.
And
It's not big, I mean,
you did good.
Good job.
Okay.
All right,
Got a fan.
let's move on then to the budget.
Pass that
We
around.
need to have a budget, to present to the board in September.
Yes, I'm gonna get with Carol and find out with her schedule
Okay,
what time we can come up with to meet here and
For
go
the
over
meeting.
the budget. And we'll post that on the website. It'll be posted out here on the board.
all right?
Yeah.
Board members, did y'all hear that?
Did you hear that? I was looking the other way. I'm gonna get with Carol and find out what date and time we can do a budget meeting
Before the next meeting.
and it'll be posted out here by the door, posted on the website, posted on the chat. Okay? Okay?
All right,
We have it.
thank you, Vicky. So we'll move on then to, do you have something,
I was supposed to do the members meeting.
pardon me?
The members meeting
Sure.
is October the 12th, and we'll be doing the barbecue pork and mashed potatoes and green beans and raw and iced tea. And what kind of price do you want us to put on that?
Well, we can decide by the next meeting. You haven't even got no. an
Well, we're
idea.
gonna be sending out the newsletter.
You said November the 12th, right?
October.
October 12th.
October 12th, second Saturday, every
Don't be late.
year. It's in the bylaws.
So primarily, it's not that we want to make a profit off of it.
No.
Right?
No.
So if you haven't had a dramatic price increase in food, but 20 or 30% now, isn't it?
Yeah, you're in the grocery store.
So let's kick it around. Y'all work on some numbers based on what you're seeing, and
Well, it was like
we'll set that
$8.50.
What was
amount in
last year?
September. Is that good?
Last year.
Last year was 9.
Everybody good with that?
Children was 4 or 450.
Okay.
Well, the badge on our
We'll
newsletter
set
goes
the
out.
price in the September meeting for the October
Okay.
annual meeting.
That'd be good. It's gonna go out fast.
Yeah.
It's gonna go out soon. Like, within the week. It's gonna be it's gonna be a little one. It's just gonna go over pretty much what I just said, the dates, the prices,
Members
what we're
meeting.
doing, members meeting, what time it starts, when the voting is.
So you're gonna put the price of the meal in there?
We usually do.
Okay, so we need to talk about it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get a number.
What was it, $9 last year?
Nine,
Nine or $4.50 for kids.
$4
Y'all
for
stay
you.
$9?
9 and 4.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We sure researched that fast, didn't we?
Great job, man. Great job.
Okay.
What you need
All right, so,
barbecue.
so we're set for the annual meeting and, the price of food. So we want to now move on. We'll be finished with it. Everything there,
That's it.
Terry? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll move on then to, old business. Do we have any old business board members?
No,
Yes.
I think so.
I saw Stacy Greco and she asked me to ask whether we're going to have a meeting to discuss short-term rentals, whether that group has ever met or will ever meet. She's part of it. She's never heard of it.
We've
We'll
had,
be coming up with some committee assignments, that we,
While we get into the new board members. And
yeah, we'll get into some new board members and, we've got several that are anxious to get on to that, so we'll do that after the October meeting.
Okay, thank you.
So no, they never did. Nothing was ever, there was never a meeting.
no.
Okay, any other old business? One thing I'd like to, clarify, there seems to be some folks throwing some, dollar amounts out and trying to beat down on the board, in the movement of the old Sidney Hodar summer home that we moved over here as the A-frame. Back in the day when all that was done, it's probably been a good 10, 12 years ago. There's some notice that was out there saying we spent $70,000 moving the A-frame. And so, and it's just a continuation of bad information that some individuals want to continue to put out, about the A-frame. Well, in case a lot of folks don't know, the A-frame actually, was the summer home for Mr. Hodar, who developed the 3,500 acres on the Swanee and Columbia side. This is where he came and had his summer vacation and ultimately turned it into his, a business office for, sales, property sales. The board took that endeavor on many years ago. The actual building, the A-frame, sat between two properties. So when the survey was done, it was between the property next door and it was between Trepo's property. So it either had to be tore down, given to the other person to move, or either we preserved it. Well, it's a historical building. So at the time, the board decided that what we would do is move the building. And I got to tell you, that building was moved very inexpensively. And it was moved by a bunch of guys with tractors and forklifts and they basically he sea-hauled the building to the location, jacked it up themselves and raised the floor 5 feet so that the building would have a little bit more availability in use. It was designed to be done that way so that we could do two things. Have an office there and also have a museum, which there's a lot of information that we have for a museum going back to the early settler days of Three Rivers Estate. We've just not been able to get to that. We've been fighting a lot of battles and fights, and it's not anything worth taking on until we can do so. The plan still is that that will be the office. Right now, it houses a lot of electronics and it has a lot of files. The goal is to gut this building, renovate this building, have a much nicer air-conditioned building that can be utilized for members for small events, rehearsal dinners, or some things like that that can be on a very small scale, or it can be utilized by members in Three Rivers for multiple different purposes. Maybe even have a kitchen in the back of the building. So that's still on the table. We've discussed that, but we've actually had a couple of starts and had to stop because we have been trying to find ourselves, I guess, for the last few years to try to figure out what direction we can go. So that building, where this $70,000 is coming from, I have no idea, but ultimately going back and looking at the records, there was about $50,000 spent, but it wasn't just for that building. It was for the renovation of the bathrooms. We had to put a whole new well system in. It had to be moved, and we had another septic tank set over here, and additional work had to be done in conjunction with other expenditures that weren't designated for this particular area. They got all thrown into one hat. So there's a myth out there about that. Matter of fact, the renovation contract on that building was less than $6,900 on the interior. And all the cedar, western cedar, was preserved inside the building. And the gentleman that did the job did a great job for us, and he died the next day when he finished. Put his heart and soul in it, and he passed away. So it's a very nice building. It's going to have some functionality. Hopefully in our budget this year, we can take another look back at this building and clean this building up and put the proper air conditioning in here and the sound systems in here so that it can be utilized for multiple different purposes. So I'd like to kill that myth that's out there because it's very unfair. And it's only by people, selfish people, who want to do nothing but run this board down because whatever it is, they can't play with their toys or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's false and it's not true. So I'll leave that at that. Is there any other old business? Okay, not hearing any. We have any property owners that want to have to speak? Yeah.
So I have been a legal office going around time suing the association of monetary value. And I just want everybody to know that they can look on the county's website. There's absolutely not a penny that I'm seeking to finance for myself in that law. You can check that out on the county website.
Okay, there's an awful lot of rumors out there about an awful lot of things. And it's kind of a regular thing. So hopefully we can discount all the crap that's out there. We can work on focusing on the positive things like what we're trying to do to preserve the river, protect the safety of our members, create nice parks that are wholesome for our children and grandchildren to go to, and to say to heck with this other crap that's out here. We're going to stick by our rules. We're not going to, there's not a law enforcement agency that's 100%. There's a lot of times criminals get away, and we're not nearly as sophisticated as a lot of them. And I think we're doing a pretty dadgum good job. So we're gonna continue to go forward to do what we do. It's changed like night and day from some years ago. Any other board members? Okay, with that being said, I call for a motion to, yes, yes,
Can I
ma'am.
say something, please? So about all of these rumors going on, I guess my, so I guess about all of the rumors going on, I guess my stance on that would be is, for instance, I know there's a lot out there, but for instance, the movement of that building, to just show proof of what was paid. I mean, wouldn't that be the easiest to just get rid of these rumors, to show the invoice that was paid, or
It won't
even if
make-
it's attached to canceled check?
Yeah,
I mean, to me, that's proof of what was
it's a
paid.
lot of work to go do that, but I can tell you right now, the building's set right there. Don Bradley brought his tractor, I brought a load, we picked the thing up, Joel Busby got timbers, we jacked the thing up, we did hire a block mason for maybe $3,000 or $4,000 to do the block, we got a few thousand.
I'm not saying it wasn't done or it's not the correct amount. All I'm saying is to kind of put a stop to some of these rumors and shut some of these things down. To just,
We've
just
already
prove-
done that. Yeah, we've already done that in the past. And we've discussed it at board meetings and they keep regurgitating that kind of stuff.
So proof was put out there on a shipping home or.
Sure, let's just, yeah, go ahead, Vicky.
Normally on a project, you can produce one invoice
Right.
and show what was paid. In a situation like that, that construction and that work was done by members as well as contractors, and it was done over probably a year or two, right?
That's correct.
So it would require somebody going back through all the old records and trying to figure out what was regular maintenance of the park and what was applied to that, and
I was
I can tell you this much, though. We had a 60.
This thing was literally just an example.
Yeah,
I'm not talking
Yeah, but
about
let
other
me
things.
just tell you how it works. That building was paid for. It was sitting there. The board decided to save it as an historical, structure. It's the beginning of Three Rivers Estate. As Mr. Hodar not coming here back in the 50s and planted these properties,
Right.
you may have filling stations up and down this road.
Right. And
I decided to speak like everybody. That's a bad way. But you may have a filling station there on the side of the river. You
Right.
may have all kinds of businesses. At least
No, all right.
35 square acres around a beautiful river. So we didn't spend anywhere near that amount of money. $6,900 tie-in,
He was gone.
refurbishing of the interior. That's the electrical, the plumbing. Wood, a little bit of woodwork.
And like I said, that was just an example, so I don't really need like a huge explanation. I wasn't even here when that was moved. I don't even know how long ago it was moved. You just brought it up, so I figured I would just use that
Right.
example.
And I-
But I mean, I could use another example that I know is more recent of the funds not being used properly at the board. I know that is a huge rumor
Right.
that's going around. Like, that's another thing that's super recent.
Right.
That you're not having to go back, you know, like I said, I have no idea when that is. You know, in 5, whatever year, something that documents could be produced. This is the company we paid, this is how much we paid them to do this.
All a
And
person
produce
needs- all a
those
person needs to
documents
do-
that
All
are
they need
current.
to do is every bill that's paid has an attached invoice to it for that amount of money.
Okay,
And it's in the file and it's done by year, by month
Okay.
and year.
Okay.
Everyone said, yes, sir.
So in my business, I had a business that did 7 figures a month. And the government required me to give them any information that they wanted for 7 years.
Right.
So is this not, are we not being trained?
Let me explain something to you. If you want to see, no, if you want to,
Yes or no question.
no, it's not. Let me explain to you. If you want to see a document,
We've already asked and no one's responded to us.
when did
We've
you?
already-
well, okay, wait a minute, I did ask last week, but this was just last Thursday, so I don't know what a timely manner is. Because I just wanna see, there are so many, I wanna just see things for myself,
If
so
what
I
you
know.
can do,
I don't wanna get a
let me
part
explain to you what
of,
we're, this is not a challenge or a debate.
well, no,
What
I
I
know,
want to,
just
what
trying to
we can
explain
do
to
for
you,
you,
but you're.
you can make a request to this board. You can make a request to this board.
We have,
Okay,
we have.
make a public records request to this board and you'll set a time up. for-
what did the treasurer say? The treasurer said that there was a policy that I believe.
And okay, listen, I'm the one who spoke, so
I asked you to put it in writing to tribo.net, just like everybody else.
I did, so what it is,
And if I
so,
take bills every month, I have a list of everybody I pay every month. It's so easy to print that printout, show to you. Very simple. Very simple, especially if these those are paid monthly.
Is there a program that is used?
I mean, I'll buy you Excel or Outlook.
Oh, QuickBooks is used, okay, so then it should be simple.
Everything.
So then it should be really easy.
Okay, let's kill the discussion and let's follow through the process. If you want to see records,
I did do that, so what's
You-
the
you
time
send
to
it to-
response, net on the phone?
when did you receive?
I haven't received a request. I'm not on that email anymore.
Okay, last
Did you
Thursday.
get it?
Okay. So what we'll do, we'll set a time.
And I'm
to-
not expecting,
Usually
I'm just
10
gonna
days.
say, I don't know who responds to that, can I please?
It's okay.
I know, but can I please
Yeah.
respond, just because you keep interrupting?
Could I-
Whoever's
Could I interject
responsible,
just one more?
whoever, I just wanna say, whoever is responsible for replying to this, I am not expecting a reply the following day or even to, I understand people have things that are going on, so don't think that I'm saying, oh, I sent a request in last Thursday and I should have got a response already. I'm not saying that at all. So I just want to put that out there, but I did send in a request and I don't know what timely manner. What is that considered, you know, what
You
is,
probably have 10 days to respond. if I'm not
10 days,
mistaken.
yeah.
Yeah, we have 10 days.
okay.
So we'll respond to your request.
That business days, understand this.
Yeah, business day.
So that was it, just about not being rumors now, just showing proof. I think that would be
Well, I
the
can't wait
easiest.
to see it. So,
I mean, I just think everybody needs to see it. I just see so much out there and if you can prove it, then why not just prove it?
That's real easy, I'm a businessman.
You went
Okay.
around,
okay, that's fine. So we're gonna react to your request and make sure.
Ah.
Time. Okay. Okay, yes, Vicky.
Every month, we give financial reports and also breakdowns on the P and L. And these are posted to the website. We go over them in the meeting and I try to explain anything that's out of the ordinary for the month. There's also minutes to the meetings out there where you could read and see if there was a discussion on something that looked abnormal. So I'm trying to be as transparent as we can be, but we'll be glad to provide records, you know, when we work that request.
I will say, this board generates $175,000 a year. Why? For transparency, we do have more than one bank account.
Why?
One for online payment.
You wanna address that?
Membership, not to mess up our. Because we have one account for member money going in, so we can substantiate dues. Then we have another account that's our working fund. The other account at the same bank is a reserve for an emergency. If we have a major catastrophe and we need $50,000, we can tap into that. Those reports are every month and you get to see what we have. At the end of the year, the membership money that's sitting in here that dwindles in throughout the year because we get new members and it gets prorated and they pay all year long. And that money will be moved over to our working fund at the end of the year.
Is that all the same bank?
Yes,
What bank account?
it's one bank, three accounts.
You had to
So
get
you
one
have
of
your
them
working
accounts just
account,
for online
you have
payments,
one
if you can remember.
Yeah, we all, and the membership account had to be set up by itself so that people could pay online. We had to have a separate account so that when they paid by credit card, it went into that account.
What
We
is the
couldn't do it.
CD account?
It's that reserve money that we have for emergency,
Okay.
that we've had for years and we've never touched the money.
Okay, and then the savings account is used for.
It's just a savings account.
Interest bearing?
Huh?
Does it have interest?
That one didn't. The CD was sitting there for a long time and not making any interest whatsoever, but we finally bought a CD for that. That used to be in the savings account. That, that money used to be in the savings account and we moved 50,000 out to buy the CD. What was left is what's in the savings account.
So the CD is not acceptable, that money, I mean, not acceptable, but not accessible.
It is accessible, but
At any time that
yes,
we would need it, okay, and is there a penalty for it?
no.
There's not.
You just wouldn't get the interest for that particular quarter. But we've gained $624 since we got this CD only less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And then that money is kept there, that's moved to the working.
No, it's kept in the CD. It's just gonna keep accruing
Okay, so we're
interest.
going to, you have any more questions? Yes, yes.
I was wondering, when did members vote to hold a reserve account, or did, then we're gonna have?
We set it up in our budget, approved it in the budget, that's the way we set it up. Yes, sir.
Let's say, you're not finding.
Sir?
What?
Treeco.net. What website?
Oh, Treepo.net. Treepo.net.
So it's TREPO, the dot.
Okay, we have no more questions. We'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Charlie, and second by Tommy. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you all.